Hey, I'm here. I was trying to I was trying to get rid of some error messages, and I was also trying to pull up a photo. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it up, but I wanted to. Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right. I got it. I'll show it to you in a minute. Okay. So happy Thursday. Look, the sun came out just now. The sun came out just now. Very cool. Happy Thursday. This is the 16th day of December. This is the 59th episode of season 2 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. Try it, you might like it. I'm sekouwrites. I'm your host. I am a professional creative and the creator of what is now being called the Hero Ministry movement. And that's my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community in a number of different ways. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a personal trainer or a financial advisor, so do your own due diligence. And shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero, financially and otherwise. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain. And if this show provides any value, please feel free to like, comment, share, make a donation. Is that it? Yeah, all that good stuff. And the information for that is in the show notes right below. Okay, so Hero Ministry Movement news really quickly. Today was day 199 of my Hero Charity Run. Oh, no, let me get the language right. Today is day 199 of my run streak. I've been running every day for at least a mile a day for 199 days in a row. The charity run component of that ended on day 187, but it looks like there's about to be a new charity component soon. So stay tuned for that. Okay, that's it. Shout out to the heroes in the chat. Shout out to Margareta, Lovejoy. Yeah, the sun came out for me. I appreciate it, Margareta. Shout out to Tim, Cup of Coffee. Shout out to Linda from Woodland Park, Colorado. Yeah, so it's actually summer-ish right here in Nashville. Like today, I went running in a t-shirt, and shorts, like 65 degrees. It was even warmer yesterday. It's amazing. It's a little spooky, to be honest with you, since it's December, but it's lovely weather. All right, shout out to all the heroes in the chat. I appreciate you chatting, commenting in the chat, and I appreciate you watching. And shout out to all the people that will join later for the replay. Okay, so I wanted to tell another Hoodies for the Homeless story. Just a reminder, the 4th annual Hoodies for the Homeless event was created by Project Love Strong, which is a locally based nonprofit. They work with the unhoused community, and they're actually the entity that I learned the word unhoused from, full circle. So I came down for their 4th annual event. I supported them in a number of different ways. And one of the stories that they have been telling on social media was really powerful. So Jay White, who's the founder of Project Love Strong, has been telling this story on social media. She said that she got this note out of the blue from a woman whose son is unhoused and living in the Nashville area. And her son called her from someone else's phone. He doesn't have a cell phone, and was raving about this event, the Hoodies for the Homeless event, and how he was able to get food and clothing and a haircut and a shower and laundry and have fun via the music, and just really reset him in terms of all the things that he needed and all the things that he wanted. And he was just so excited about it. And that's why they do that work, to really affect people, to really reset people, to give people everything that they can get during that period. So that was a really exciting story to read online. So I just thought I would share that. Just know that these efforts may seem small, but they are impactful to many lives. So thank you for those of you that supported me in all the different ways, the Hero Charity Run, buying Hero stuff like hoodies, sweatshirts, socks, all those good things. All that stuff came in handy. Because even those of you that bought stuff, Hero stuff last year, I had the doubles still left over, both with Project Love Strong and here at my mom's house. So I was able to cobble all those things together and give out a decent number of things. So thank you. I appreciate it. And shout out to Project Love Strong for creating this event and doing the work. Okay. Oh, so I just want to hit that a little bit harder. They had showers and laundry, which is kind of mind-boggling. I was parked on the street in the truck. You guys, if you've been watching the show, you know about the Nissan truck. So in front of me, there was a laundry. I want to call it an RV, but that's not quite correct. But think of it as an RV, a recreational vehicle. So it's a really big vehicle with stacks of washing machines inside of it. They were stacked two each, so up and down, upper and lower, just like in a laundromat. And also there was an RV that provided showers by a company called Shower Up. So you could take off your clothes, put them in the laundry, and then go take a shower. They had some clothes that you could wear in between. And also there were folks that came up to my truck and grabbed clothes that they could put on like right after the shower before they put the other clothes back on. So anyway, I just want to emphasize the fact that there are services. The more you get involved, the more you find out how many services there are. And the fact that they could come, the unhoused could come and get a shower and laundry, and those vehicles can come anywhere and serve any unhoused population is pretty amazing. Okay, I just wanted to point that out. All right, so yesterday I read something from the Dalai Lama as a part of my morning practice, or rather I was sharing with you a part of my morning practice. And today I want to share a different part of my morning practice. I did read something from the Dalai Lama, but I got excited about something else I read. Let me find that. So this comes from a book called Mind Hacking Happiness. And the quote is, "Controlling our minds is the single most important thing we can learn in the course of a human lifetime. Develop your awareness of awareness." So let me read it again. Controlling our minds is the single most important thing we can learn in the course of a human lifetime. Like, that deserves emphasis. And if you've been watching this show, if you've been watching Sit with Reverend Melissa, you know that she's talked a lot about the book, The 30-Day Mental Diet. That book title again is The 30-Day Mental Diet. And it's about controlling your mind. It's about training your mind. It's about exercising control over your mind. Okay, so that quote really stood out to me in my morning reading this morning. And that led me to another quote by Horace Mann. And that quote is, "Rule your mind or it will rule you." Again, rule your mind or it will rule you. And that got me thinking, all right, I know what it means, but what if I looked it up? What if I tried to find an example of your mind ruling you? And then I went down the rabbit hole quite a bit. And I found this article in Psychology Today magazine. And this really stood out to me. I'll read this and then I'll talk about an experiment they did. So here's the quote from Psychology Today magazine. The whole article was amazing, but this really stood out to me. "Your brain consistently tricks you into believing your logic is in control, but generally it is not. You are being driven by emotions and instinctual drives, which your logical brain then rationalizes after the fact. This gives the appearance of the logical mind controlling the subconscious drives. We work hard at gaining self-control, often failing because of this illusion." Like, so that's a long quote, but the part to think about is that we are driven by our subconscious needs, wants, and desires, and then our conscious mind rationalizes why we did that thing. That's deep. That's deep. So again, this is all about exercising the will to exert control of your mind. So here is the example that they gave in this article from Psychology Today. They did this experiment where they invited people to do like a word scramble. So there were 4 or 5 complete words, and they were supposed to arrange the words in a sentence. And they had X amount of time to do this. And they were told that that was the experiment. That was not the experiment. That's just what they were told the experiment was. The experiment actually was, after it was over, when they exited the room and came into the hallway, the experiment was seeing if they would interrupt the facilitator who was in the midst of a conversation or wait for the facilitator to finish his conversation. That was the actual test. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The reason that was a test was because they gave certain groups of people words, fully formed words, that were about being rude and being disrespectful. And they gave the other group of folks words that were about being polite and being patient. And invariably, without any exceptions, the people who got the words about being polite waited for the facilitator to finish his conversation. And the people who got the words about being rude interrupted. So we're talking about the subconscious mind responding, assessing, and reacting to what it's ingesting, even though the conscious mind is completely unaware of it. Completely unaware of it. Like there are processes happening in your mind constantly that you're unaware of. And your mind is making decisions based on what it's ingesting constantly without your awareness. So that is a very telling example. And so the point of the article, and essentially everything that I read this morning, is you have to start becoming aware of your awareness. And this actually goes back to what I said about the Dalai Lama yesterday. The feeler is separate from feelings. The feeler, you, are separate from your feelings. It's two separate things. So your awareness can be separate from your awareness. You can be aware of what you're saying to yourself. And we've all experienced that, where we're thinking something, usually something negative or something petty, and then there's another part of our brain that's like, come on, knock it off, right? Like it's that exercising the muscle of awareness. Reverend Melissa calls it binge watching your thoughts. You've got to start binge watching your thoughts so you can start to become aware of what's a rationalization and what's not. Because again, just back to that example, the people who were involved in that experiment had no idea that was the experiment, whether or not they interrupted the person at the end. They're thinking that they're just, rearranging these words. And so even though they thought that they were just arranging these words, the subconscious mind took in the context of the words and shaped their behavior immediately after that, just based on those words. So I can't emphasize it enough. Check out these books. Check out the 30-Day Mental Diet. Reverend Melissa is doing a 30-Day Mental Diet class in January. So check that out. January into February. So check that out. So if you don't do that, get the book, The 30-Day Mental Diet, and really become attuned to the fact that even though you think that you're in control, you're probably not in control. Like that's just the way the mind works. You have to exercise the muscle of awareness, and then that will help you gain control. So anyway, I went way down the rabbit hole on that this morning. I actually got a late start running because I was reading so much about it. So check that out. All right. Oh, and there's one more thing I wrote down. Oh, this is from the same article. The beginning of controlling your mind is recognizing that it is deceiving you, or at the very least, questioning your thinking. How often do we question our thinking? Rarely, if ever. So now I'm sidebarring. Let me read the quote again. The beginning of controlling your mind is recognizing it is deceiving you, or at the very least, questioning your thinking. And the ways to do that are cognitive behavioral therapy and meditation. And exercise is a great place to begin to retrain your mind. And that is what I've discovered by accident, by using exercise, by running every day for now 199 days in a row. I am exercising the muscle of retraining my mind, because as I've said before, there have only been a few days when I felt like doing it. And even though I'm deep in the process, 199 days in, there are still days today even, when my mind generates all these excuses about why I shouldn't, why I don't need to, all that stuff that I have to push past. So Anyway, check that out. Check out cognitive behavioral therapy if you haven't already. Do some meditation and become aware of your awareness. Okay, so 10 o'clock, reset in the room. If you're just joining us, we've been talking for about 15 minutes now about, well, mainly about controlling the mind, but about a few different things. This show now starts at 9:45 a.m. and goes to 10:15. Is that right? Yes, it goes to 10:15. This is the Be Your Own Hero show, where this season we're talking about spiritual abundance. That said, let's get into some abundance. So I've got a funny story to tell, but let's do the affirmation first. So I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Okay. All right. So I'm just popping the comments. Yeah. So I can't write the book in the comments right now because I'm doing the show. But I will repeat the names of those books for those who are interested. There is the 30-day mental diet, the 30-day mental diet, and what's the other book that I mentioned? Oh, Mind Hacking Happiness. Mind Hacking Happiness. Those are two really good books that are essentially saying the same things. Even if you just download the sample on Kindle, I usually read books on my Kindle app these days, which is to say, I have an app on my phone, and the app on my phone lets me download a sample of the book. So even if you just download the sample of those two books, the 30-day mental diet and Mind Hacking Happiness, you'll get a lot just in those samples. Okay, moving on. I did the affirmation about being a millionaire, and I want to tell this funny story. I was talking to someone yesterday, and she said that for years, she has saved $5 bills. I've never heard this before. I've never heard of anyone doing this before, but she said it's something she got from, I think, a family member. Anyway, whenever she gets a $5 bill, she tucks it away. She saves it. And she collects all those $5 bills someplace, and then they accumulate over time. And that's what she used to, and what she used to do was use that money at the end of the year to ball out, go on vacation, buy something fancy, spend it in some way. And because of the pandemic, it accumulated 2 years instead of just one because no one was going anywhere. And so now she just happened to find it recently, and she added up the money, and she thought, her initial thought was, I'm going to invest it. And she gave me credit for giving her that idea because of this show, because of me talking about investing. She said she's never thought about investing it before. This has always been her spend it money, but this time she's going to invest it. And so she gave me a shout out for the shift in mindset. So I appreciate that. Certainly I've shifted my own mindset, and I'm grateful that some of you are shifting your mindset as well as far as investment. That said, I'm totally going to steal that idea. I actually collect $2 bills because I just think they're fun. I collect $2 bills and $1 coins because I think they're fun. But they don't accumulate quickly, but because there are not many $1 coins and there are very few $2 bills. But $5 bills, you come across those quite often. So I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to try to keep the $5 bills and set them aside. And that is a very easy way to create investment money. So as you know, if you've been watching the show, I mentioned this book called Minute Millionaire. And in that book, the author is suggesting that you take just 10% of, well, he started at 10% and then went up from there, but let's just keep it to 10%. So he is suggesting that you take just 10% of whatever money you get in and set that aside for investing. Just immediately put it into a fund to invest. And if you do that consistently, it will accumulate very rapidly. I know because I've done it. And I remember in the beginning, I was thinking, this ain't gonna work because I was taking 10% of very small amounts of money. But if you do it consistently, you will be surprised at how quickly that money will accumulate, and then you can do something real in terms of investment. So I expect that the same thing will happen with saving $5 bills. So I'm going to give that a go. I invite you to give it a go with me. Should be fun. Okay, so that leads me to another thought. Yesterday, I was watching this video about this homeless man who is now a multimillionaire. I will definitely be circling back to that. But he was being interviewed, and the woman who was interviewing him said the typical millionaire has about 7 streams of income. So I fact checked that, and that is true. On average, the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income, which led to the question, well, what are they? What are the 7 different streams of income? And the answer is there is no set answer. That's the answer. You can have lots of different streams of income, and they can be different kinds of revenue streams. But I thought that I would talk about a few of the ones that I read about last night, just to give us an idea, just to help expand our mindset about what revenue streams are and what they can be. Because I think, at least for myself, I tend to think about the typical revenue streams, but there are some atypical ones. Okay, that said, here are a few revenue streams. The first is the most obvious, earned income. That's wages from a job, right? You work, you expend time in exchange for money. And by the way, in the source that I was looking at for this, they used an acronym for job that I've never heard before. It made me laugh. They called the job just over broke. I'd never heard before. But anyway, the idea is don't just rely on earned income. Don't just rely on wages. Use some of your wages to invest religiously all the time. Take some of that money and invest it, because that is how you create space to stop trading time for money down the road. Okay, so that's the first one, earned income. Second one, dividend income. That's pretty simple. We're doing that in the stock market. For those of us that own dividend-bearing stocks, dividend-yielding stocks, we're getting dividend income. Now, I've suggested DRIP, which is the dividend reinvestment plan. That's what I'm doing, where the dividends are automatically reinvested back into the stock position so that it never even touches your account. It just makes your position bigger. Still, it is an income, and at some point, I could choose to turn off DRIP and have the income come directly to me. There are some people that I've become aware of now who literally live off of their own dividends. And I think that's what has been meant by that phrase, live off the interest. I think what they really mean when they say that is live off the dividends. Meaning if you have a big enough lump sum saved up in a place that pays dividends, so in a stock that pays dividends, that you can literally live off the dividends. You can get enough dividends that it would be like a salary. And the bonus is that lump sum continues to accrue. It continues to grow because it's still over there in the stock market. I mean, all things being equal, nothing happens to the stock market, nothing happens to the stock. But the idea is that the principal continues to grow even as you reap the dividend payments. So very cool idea. So that's the second revenue stream that we're talking about today. So we got earned income, which is wages, and then we got dividend income. Then there's profit income. That's basically creating something and selling it. Like in my case, creating bracelets and selling them. That's profit income. And by the way, that was pretty cool to realize that I already have something that is another stream of income. That was fun for me. Oh, my alarm's going off. I gotta start wrapping it up. Okay. All right, let me pick up the pace. Next is royalty income. Typically, this is associated with intellectual property, like writing a book or a screenplay or something like that. And you can make royalty income off of that. So let's stick with the book. Like even if you put it up on Amazon yourself, every time someone buys it, you get some small percentage of what was sold comes to you. See, that made me think of NFTs, but nope, my alarm just went off. I'm gonna keep moving. But conceivably, you can do the same thing with NFTs, royalty income. All right, moving on. Capital gains income. Essentially, that's buying low and selling high. That's the way I'm paraphrasing it. So capital gains, you typically hear this in reference to real estate. You bought some real estate for X amount, and then you sold it later for X amount more than what you bought it for. So the difference between what you bought it for and what you sold it for is capital gains. That is another form of income. And then you can roll those capital gains into another real estate deal. You don't have to take the money out. And I'm finding more and more that the wealthy tend to let it ride. In whichever of these income streams it is, they take the money not all the way out. They grab the money, but then shift it into something else. And so that the money kind of remains in whatever platform where they earn the money. So where are we now? Earned income, dividend income, profit income, royalty income, capital gains income. Now, interest income. This is pretty interesting because the idea is you can loan people money and take interest, like loan sharks or like the Rothschilds. I don't know if you know this, but the Rothschilds made their money loaning money. They started off very small. Oh, I got to keep this story short. They started off very small, lending a little bit of money here and there, but they discovered quickly that if they lent money to the aristocracy, that they were more insured of a chance of getting their money back. And so they did that over generations, and it got to the point where they were lending money to kings and queens to finance their wars. And that's how they created their wealth. That's the Rothschild family. Anyway, the point is you can lend your money out for interest income. Okay, next one, last one for today, rental income. You can rent out a room in your house. You can rent out a house. You can rent out a garage. You can rent out a car, an RV. Like you can rent out something that you own for income. And there's lots of different options these days. Like I mentioned, a garage, that's a real thing. Like people are crowdsourcing storage space now. So you used to just go to U-Haul and rent a storage unit. Well, these days you can actually talk to Paul about his unused garage and use his unused garage for storage space. There's an app for it. I don't remember the name of the app. Actually, there's several apps, but you can actually, so if you've got any spare space or a room, like anything like that, you can figure out a way to monetize it. So spare rooms, spare space, spare cars, you can monetize all those things for cash flow. Okay, so that was a long list. There are obviously more revenue streams than the ones I just talked about. And there was something else I wanted to talk about also, but I'm going to table that for tomorrow. I'll just say that for the Planet Techno portion of today's show, I want to talk more about Square changing its name to Block. And I would just say briefly that the reason that Block, used to be Square's stock, is down is because buy now, pay later programs haven't been working as well as the industry thought they would. But that doesn't mean that that Block, that used to be Square, won't bounce back. Okay, so as to not go over time, I'm just going to cut it there. I'll come back to talk a little bit more about Block and a little bit more about these revenue streams. It's fascinating to me, and I hope it's fascinating to you, how many different types of revenue streams there are and how we can make use of them. Okay, so stay tuned for prayer time coming up now at 10:15, and then stay tuned for Sit with Rev Melissa, which I am producing, and I will probably pop in to say hi. Keep doing. In this case, doing means investing. Keep doing, meaning keep investing. Be a hero. Be your own financial hero. And remember that now is better than perfect. Invest today. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until Monday. Even if you can only invest $1, do it today. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.